Hello and welcome back to APtimise. In this session we're going to follow the journey of an invoice in APtimise. This will give you the tools required to automate a number of functions, simplifying your accounts payable process with optical character recognition of invoices, automated approval relay and one-click payment authorizations. We're going to begin with the functions that facilitate the movement of an invoice from receipt from your supplier through to scheduling a payment directly from APtimise. We align these functions to the APtimise user profile of Accounting Manager. We will then demonstrate the easy way in which invoices can be approved and payments authorized using the Invoice Approver and Payment Authorizer profiles. Let's start at the very beginning when your supplier sends you an invoice. The invoice should be in PDF or Word format, and the supplier details, including bank details, are stored in their ERP. When we set up an APtimise account, a dedicated email address will be created on your behalf. You can use this email address to send their invoices to APtimise for optical character recognition, a process which will trigger on receipt and complete within 24 hours. You can view received invoices in the Inbox tab. For increased automation, why not have your supplier send invoices directly to this email address? This email address is available for view by all profiles within APtimise. To see this, hover over Settings and click on Company Profile. The email address will display here. APtimise has the ability to receive multiple invoices all on one document. You can send this to the same email address shown. Proceeding by bulk, the OCR will complete in less than 48 hours, where it will populate the captured data into APtimise. Once invoices have been read and captured by the OCR, they will populate to the Invoices tab. APtimise will display the vendor name, due date, invoice number, and purchase orders, if applicable, on the Invoices tab as a summary, alongside their status on the right-hand side here. One thing to note here is that if there are no attached documents highlighted by a 0 in the document field, then APtimise is pulled across an open invoice, which has been manually entered into your ERP. If this is old and paid, it should update to reflect this is in your accounting software. If it is new, you are expecting an invoice, you can hold off until it's received, then forward to your email as just shown on receipt from your supplier. Vendor names will now appear hyperlinked in blue or in black. We'll address the black ones first. These are invoices that have been received. APtimise has attempted to validate them against suppliers in your ERP, but they either don't exist yet, in which case we need to add them, or APtimise has identified a mismatch in supplier details. Two things need to happen here. Firstly, click the Search tab, then Vendors. APtimise will have pulled your supplier details from your accounting software. Click into Suppliers to validate them as necessary. Secondly, let's go back to the Invoices tab and validate the invoices against the suppliers. Let's click the invoice number. We can validate the vendor name by deleting the characters one by one and waiting for APtimise to preempt and validate. Now press Save. All vendor names in your Invoice tab should now be in blue and hyperlinked, which means they perfectly match with your ERP. Behind the scenes, APtimise will pull through any default codes set in your ERP. An alternative view within APtimise is to group invoices by supplier, presenting you with an outstanding invoice total summarised here. This stage is where the Accounting Manager will inspect the invoice details for accuracy. You post to your accounting software by clicking into the invoice. For risk mitigation, APtimise will allow you to review invoices separately before posting back to your accounting software, or click a selection and then post. Let's click into an invoice by clicking once again on the invoice number. You will now be taken to a split screen, with the invoice image on the top and the individual components of this line item invoice sitting below. APtimise has read, captured and populated the data for your review. After inspection and any required amendments, you can post by ticking the Post to ERP box at either the top right and the bottom left of the invoice's details, under the image. APtimise can also be configured to route invoices for approval by managers or budget holders prior to posting back to their ERP. This approval routing can be outlined on the invoice. There are multiple ways in which we can automate the approval routing to suit your business needs. Check out the invoice approval video for more information. In this case, upon pressing save, an email will be received by an approver with details of all invoices they are responsible for. These can now be approved in bulk or individually. Now scroll up and press save. Our invoice has been sent to APtimise, read, captured, validated, reviewed, and posted back to the accounting software. Our invoices are approved and we're ready to schedule for payment. APtimise will instantaneously update the accounting software, at which point we have the option to pick a selection or select all. Click the drop-down, select Pay, and press the green button with an arrow to submit. The right-hand side will now populate with our payments. We can action immediately by not setting a due date, for which APtimise will execute as a faster payment if selected by default. By clicking Not Set, we open up scheduling options. We can select the payment date on the calendar. APtimise will notify you of the date at which you qualify for an early payment discount and due date. Please confirm where APtimise will group your payments, summarise your account before and after you submit. Here ends the role of the accounting manager in this process, and we submit for approval and authorisation. We will now log into APtimise as a payment authoriser, where we can authorise payments at speed, communicate comments against an individual invoice, and leave an audit trail of payments made. We're going to highlight the functions that the payment authoriser will perform in APtimise. Then show the easy way in which we can approve, reject, hold a payment, directly view the invoice image and coding set by their accounting manager, and see supplier payment history. We've already covered how APtimise has received the invoice, validated it against entered suppliers, posted back to their ERP. It's now scheduled and waiting for your authoriser to action. Let's have a look at what happens next. Once you have logged into your profile and land on the dashboard, you will see a summary of payments awaiting approval. A summary of payment statuses shown on the right, broken into in process and paid. Clicking into the Payment tab will display all items which require attention. APtimise is able to cater for multiple workflows, depending on your preference. If you would like to inspect individual payments, you can do so by clicking into each supplier name. Alternatively, you can approve payments as a batch. From here, there are a number of ways to authorise payments. From the Payment tab, you can inspect the payment information and invoice detail by clicking into the vendor name. At this stage, you will also have the opportunity to easily approve, hold, or reject the payment from here. When satisfied with the submission, click the Approve button, followed by the Proceed to Confirmation button. A payment summary box appears for one final check before you click Submit. By navigating back to the Payment tab, you have the ability to move quickly between each payment by clicking Vendor Name, where you can approve, confirm, and submit payments. An alternative method that the payment authoriser may find beneficial and take advantage of is from the Payment tab, where you can, in one action, single-click approve all outstanding payments. Confirmation is now required, which we can do here. This is again followed by a payment box. APtimise will now show a total of payments about to be submitted, including general ledger cash figures, before and after the payment, maintaining total visibility of your bank account. Now press Submit. This is the journey of a single invoice through APtimise. Why not try sending your invoice now?